Hello, 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 hello. We are just waiting for the streams to fill and for the news to end on the channels that we go out on. And we thought we'd share that with you while we share the show. Oh, yes, sirree. And if you could also share the show, I'm sharing this now on my page for the regulars. And we're going live on YouTube as well if you prefer to watch on there. Because apparently I'm slightly more attractive on YouTube. I don't know what it is. I'm joking. I'm attractive everywhere. What else did I want to tell you while we're getting sorted? I need to minus the page. I think I'm at an age now where I have to talk myself through things. Are any of you out there a little bit like that too? Do you have to talk yourself through things? You just mute that because the last thing I want to see and hear is myself. So I'm just sharing to various places where the show is, the live link for the show, while we are waiting to go in live and tell people what we're doing with today's show. We got some great guests and some fabulous topics. I just gotta grab the YouTube link so I can share that on a certain site, so people know where it is at. But why is it when you want your computer to work quickly, it tends like not to do that? Why is that? Answers on a postcard, please, to Xander at xandergibb.com, or you can contact us via on a certain site. Shut up. I don't know who that was, but he sounds very intelligent and very handsome. So that was grabbing the YouTube link, which is not pasting. Oh, it's done it now. Oh, yes, sirree. And I just got to share it now on the... I just got to share on the Facebook pages so that... here we go. Click that share button. Share to a group. I've already told you this before. When I say that, it always makes me think of the soup for a group from a well-known eatery that I used to attend. I believe they have a picture of me on their wall because I'm probably one of the most famous people that ever went in there. I'm joking. I'm joking. Because I'm not here to be a celebrity. I'm actually here to make a difference and to get people to look at issues and actually make sure that the truth is out there. And no, this is not an episode of The X-Files. This is indeed an episode of The Xander Gibb Show. And I am indeed just waffling while I share to the groups so that people know that we are live and that the show is going on, because the show must go on. And I'm having to make sure I don't share into the wrong groups, because I get banned when I do that, not only from the groups, but from Facebook. Because, you know, you only have to breathe out of place on Facebook now if you're a conservative, and they will ban you, and they will take your firstborn child away as well, because I think Mark Zuckerberg eats them on a temple for breakfast, him and his mail order bride. Oh, yes, sirree. We are nearly there, and we are nearly ready to go live. We are going to be taking your calls very soon after I've done my soapbox on 845-363-4747. That's 845-363-4747. Oh, yes, sirree. And we will be playing a drinking game. Hello to everyone in the live feed. Welcome, 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 and welcome to those of you who are not joining us in the live feed and are just watching the show because you're shy and you think that we probably bite. Well, we don't. We really don't. So we're going to go to the opening titles in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Nothing has been good to me this time around. Things were they were bound to change when it was found. Sugar never tasted sweeter on my lips. My heart is now intact and I can find no ribs. This is love, yeah, love. Never known true love before. Seen so many counterfeits that left me on the floor. This is love, yeah, love. All will come to those who wait. Time it cannot know the bounds, and eras don't dictate.
Hello and welcome to the Xander Gibb Show live on the Xandermonium Network from an undisclosed location that was a mixture of location and basement. And no, it is not my mother's basement. I'm Xander Gibb because who else would I be? And on today's show, I get on my soapbox and give you the opportunity to get on yours too in our phone in. CV Berton, my teeth are just not in right today. CV Berton from Freedom on Deck dropped by to break down this week's hottest topics. And Chet Martin, anchor from Freedom on Deck, joins us too. It's a bit of a Freedom on Deck takeover today. You can have your say in that feed below or wherever it happens to be to you. For you, to the left, to the right, pump it up, it's all right. And we will share your comments as we go. You can call in when we get to that segment on 845-363-4747. That's if you're in the USA. Or via Skype, you can Skype me in the UK. You can Skype me at His Royal Highness Xander Gibb. No, you can just Skype me at Xander Gibb, and we will try and take her call. I will, of course, be joining Joe Messina later on the real side at 7 Pacific. You can follow me on social media, and you can check everything out at xandergibb.com. So it's Valentine's Day today. So congratulations to all of the lovers, while all of the single people are reminding us, one and all, that St. Valentine was decapitated, giving us the phrase head over heels in love. Bill Barr is a little bit disappointing. We're going to talk a little bit about him later, commenting on Donald Trump tweeting. And Rhino's agreeing with him. I want to know what he has done for us lately since becoming the AG. We'll talk more about Boring Bill later. The UK still tunnels along, and the race for leadership of the Labour Party, which is the equivalent of them Democrats over here, is a mixture of lesbians and over-authoritarian women. And that is no dichotomy. There's a joke there somewhere. Boris Johnson has been accused of a power grab, which is kind of funny because I thought he owned it as he won the election. And the left are the same across the globe. And Jeremy Corbyn needs to resign and maybe take up knitting. The social commentary at the awards show recently, Brad Pitt and Joaquin Phoenix, who supports little cows. And no, I don't mean Pelosi and her brood or the squad. I mean actual cows. Apologies to all of the cows that eat grass out there. Online bullying is on the rise, apparently. Report it and block it and don't stand for it. I've been subjected to online bullying, and I think it's imperative to stand up to these bullies because, clearly they have an issue, and also they were probably bullied themselves. So don't put up with that BS. Lots coming up in the show. That was my soapbox. If you want to get on yours, you can go to xandergibb.com/contact. That's xandergibb.com/contact. And you can tell us what you want to get on your soapbox about. It can be about absolutely anything, but no profanity. Well, not too much anyway. We got time for a couple of calls. If you're in the USA, you can call us on 845-363-4747. That's 845-363-4747. If you're calling from the UK, you can Skype me at Xander Gibb. And I'm going to go to the live feed now while I give you that number one more time. That's 845-363-4747. Hello to everybody in the live feed. Hello to Lisa. I love you, my darling. I hope you're well. Hello to Chet. Who's going to be my Valentine date later on. We'll tell you a bit more about that. Poor Chet. Hello to, who else is there? Dave. Welcome back to the show, Dave. Have you finished your book yet? The book yet that you won on the show? Chet says, the porn lawyer found guilty on extortion charges. I actually loved that today. Michael, not Havaladia or whatever his name is. It isn't justice a wonderful thing? He finally got his. I wonder if Stormy Daniels will be bailing him out or paying his fines or, kind of helping him not have to do a jail term. Don't forget that number, 845-363-4747. Dave says, have I changed locations from my secret bunker to my Valentine's affair? No, I think Valentine's is a commercialized holiday that's been made up for people to be able to sell cards and generally make single people feel bad. So St. Valentine, it's probably a good thing that you were decapitated, dude. Yes, it really is. Chet says, I don't mind Barr's criticism if it gets the job done. But that's the point, Chet, and we'll discuss this later because he's not been getting the job done. And I could respect Bill Barr if he attacked the Democrats and their criminality with the same veracity that he's been kind of criticizing Donald Trump with. Dave said, in a sense, he was hired by Trump to root out corruption on the DOJ. I think he's talking about Bill Barr, not Michael Avenuardi or whatever his name is. Chet says, did you see Ricky Gervais pulling a list of Hollywood pedophiles on his body? Yeah, I did see that. I always find it creepy when he's in the bath and he's showing his double chin, which I'm losing. Hello to Lorraine. I hope you well. I hope you had a fabulous Valentine's Day. Dave said, I need to finish the book. Yes, you definitely do. Stormy the Hag. Let me just block my cousin. He was saying in the feed that I look like my uncle, but I'm a lot better looking and I have more hair. So watch out, Lynchy, because I know where you live. Chet says exactly. I don't know what exactly he is referring to. We got time for one call now. 845-363-4747. That's 845-363-4747. While we're waiting for our first guest, you could click the share button. You could share the show so people can come along and watch exactly what is going on. I've had a few messages today asking me how my weight loss is going. I've lost 103 pounds to date, and I get weighed again on Tuesday. And interestingly enough, I had my bloods done this week, and the doctor's office said they want me to go on medication for my cholesterol. And I said, has it gone up since the last time you tested? And they said, well, no. So I said, well, why didn't you want me to go on cholesterol medication last time? But they didn't have an answer for that. So the clear thing is that we have to question everything our doctors tell us. My doctors advised me not to go on keto because they said you won't lose very much weight. And, your cholesterol will be sky high, by the first quarter. But that has not been the case. It just seems to me that in the UK, they're really poo-pooing the keto diet. And in all fairness, as long as my cholesterol is not dangerously high, I'm going to carry on doing this for a year because by the end of the year, I will have got to my goal weight, which is minus 27 pounds. No, I'm joking. I would just like to be, a healthy weight. That would be enough for me. What else did I want to tell you? Um, who are the Trekkies out there? I've been watching this new series of Star Trek Picard. It's good, but it's very slow, and I think these 4 episodes could have been condensed into one. And as well as that, they've only just introduced Seven of Nine. Um, so I think it's got to pick up really. If it doesn't pick up now, it's gonna get boring with me. Thank you to everyone who is congratulating me on my weight loss. Thank you to my cousin who's saying I look fabulous. You look fabulous too. Chet says doctors all have different opinions of everything. They do, and I think we sometimes have to try things because as long as it's not going to kill us, then it's probably a good thing. And I've proved them wrong. I have a long way to go with my weight loss, but I already feel the difference, mentally and physically. And whilst it doesn't take away any of the damage that happened from my accident, obviously weighing less will alleviate pressure on my joints and things like that. And when I say joints, I don't mean the ones you roll. I know what some of you in the audience are like. But we will move swiftly on. Dave says, if your diet is working for you, keep doing what works. Yeah, I agree with that because so many people have actually said to me, oh, why don't you try this? Why don't you try that? If what I'm doing is working for me, why would I try anything else? I think that it's imperative to continue with whatever is working for you. But I've heard some people say, someone said to me recently that they will probably stay on keto for the rest of their life. I don't think that that's a wise move because basically what it does is cannibalizes your fat. So what does it start to cannibalize once your fat has gone? I'm worried that it will start to cannibalize muscle. So I'm already kind of researching what diet I will go on to after I've lost my weight. And so for the British people out there who can't work out pounds and stones, because we have a different system here. We have stones, and there are 14 pounds in a stone, so it's 7 pounds and 7 stones and change. I think if my math is right, so, yeah, it's about 7 stone 6 pounds or something like that. But for me, as long as it's going down, and the other thing that I think is imperative as well, a lot of people that are on weight loss regimes, they really do weigh themselves every day. I weigh myself every 2 weeks because I think that that's kind of a healthy thing. I didn't weigh myself at all for the first 3.5 months. I just knew that I was going down and that was enough. But curiosity does make you want to know, how much weight you are losing. Chet says, I look healthier and my skin, well, with my beauty regimen, Chet, it's really making a difference. I'm joking, of course. But I think that when you are overweight, when you do start losing weight, everything starts to work better. Your organs, because not only does it get rid of the fat from your body, it gets rid of the fat from your organs because it literally uses fat as fuel. This is the keto diet that I'm talking about. Well, my first guest is going to be calling in any moment, I hope. And he is one of the co-hosts on Freedom on Deck and a political commentator. And he's going to call us from New York City to break down some of this week's hottest topics. And I am actually, we'll talk about this a little bit later as well. I'm going to be a guest on the show this week. So make sure you tune in on Sunday. They go out Sundays 3 till 5 Eastern, and they're on terrestrial radio. They're on I think I never remember whether it's AM or FM, but I'm sure that Chet will correct me if I get it wrong. I think it's AM. And no, an AM doesn't. FM doesn't stand for funny mode. Before people ask, oh no, Serene. We're also playing a drinking game because apparently I say "Oh no, siree" or "Oh yes, siree" many times during the show. So feel free, even to take a nip of whatever you please, whether that be whiskey or water or wine or coffee during this show. So I'm just waiting for my first guest, CV Berton, to call in, and he should be calling any moment now. Wouldn't it be great when you do that if it... There we go. I wasn't that far off. So please join me in welcoming back to the show the one, the only, the fabulous Mr. CV Berton. How is the world with you, CV?
Great. Thanks for having me on again.
It is always a pleasure to have you. Hasn't it been a very interesting week in the United States this week?
Oh, yeah. You know, I was commuting on the way home. I was working, so I didn't get to come onto the chat feed over here. So I apologize for that. I'll have to share the show when it's over. So I apologize.
No problem, brother. And we won't give you a tardy slip for that because, you know, we all have to... We all have to work. So I want to jump right in. If I can get the words out. I don't know what's wrong with my brain today. It's not connecting with my mouth, just for a change. So as Bernie Sanders emerges as the supposed frontrunner in the race for Dem nomination, generating fears among Democrats and delight among conservatives at the chance to retake the House of Representatives in their shot at winning the Senate. Now, the anxiety is particularly acute on Capitol Hill among a small but politically important group of freshman Democrats who helped their party win control of the House in 2018 by flipping the Republican seats, basically by lying about the Russia BS in the district that President Donald Trump won in 2016. Now, they fear that having a self-declared Democrat socialist at the top of the ticket could doom their re-election chances in November. You know, from our mouths to God's ears. He said, I attracted a lot of the independent and moderate Republican support, many of whom would have voted for a Democrat for the first time in a long time. That's my attempt at a Bernie Sanders impersonation. But what do you say about this? I kind of think this is going to happen. I don't think that Bernie Sanders is going to be a good choice, especially against Donald Trump, and it's going to cost them the House.
Yeah, they fear that Bernie is easily defeatable, and he is, because he's a communist. He's a self-avowed communist, although he's backtracking on that a little bit. But the Democrats are so hypocritical. It's comical how hypocritical they are.
Right.
They stole the House in 2018.
Right.
Because of this Russia collusion thing. Oh, Trump's being investigated by Mueller. Oh, he's a Russian agent and asset or whatever they call him.
Yeah.
And they used that to steal the House in 2018, and now they thought they were going to steal the election in 2020 by having him impeached indefinitely in the Senate. Thank God the Republicans rejected the endless parade of witnesses that they would have had trotted out all year long. They thought they were going to stretch this out until November and hurt Donald Trump's chances.
Right.
So they're constantly trying to rig the election by false charges. They did this with Kavanaugh. Remember when Trump was running in 2016, they were calling him a rapist. All these women were coming out calling him a rapist and all this stuff. They just never stopped. The lies on top of lies on top of lies, and the hypocrisy is so nauseating that the American public is going to vomit them out of their mouths.
Yeah, for sure. But
come November.
Absolutely, because fundamentally, the impeachment was just like the new Russia, basically. The new Russian the collusion claims. But I think what I'm seeing and hearing from people is that that even Democrats are tired of the dishonesty. I mean, not all of them. I mean, some of them are diehard stupid. But a lot of Democrats are moving over and are saying they're going to vote Republican, and they've never voted Republican before. But the UK and the US really mirror image one another. And the person running against the Conservative in the UK was a socialist,
Right.
with communist tendencies, and wanted to turn the UK into a socialist hellhole. And the people of the UK rejected that. Now, I think that the Bernie is probably the best person to run against Donald Trump, because his platform is going to be socialist, and already his budgeting ideology is going to bankrupt the country within 30 days.
Yeah. It's. I don't think the Democrat Party is going to even let him win it. They're already rigging the system against him. He won in Iowa. He ran away with it in Iowa. You had that Des Moines poll that wasn't even released because it probably showed that Biden got 0% of the vote.
Right.
And then to this day, Iowa hasn't released the full results of the Iowa thing. So you had these like super delegates that went for butt edge. That's what I call them. Butt edge. Because that's what it looks like. It's B-U-T, whatever.
But you know how they how you actually pronounce that? It was on a news show here. His family was saying, no, this is the funny thing. It's pronounced booty gig, which I think is hilarious for a gay man to be called booty gig. But, that's an item for another show. But I digress. Carry on. Sorry.
Oh, no. I think I'm finished with that point. You want to talk about Bloomberg?
We will get there, but I also wanted to just touch on, before we move to that, how many more examples do we need from Joe Biden? I actually think that this guy is dementing. I've worked with people with dementia. I've been trained to identify the signs of early dementia. I mean, look at the way he responded to that woman this week, calling her.
Do I have it?
No.
Do I have early signs of dementia?
No, I don't think you do. I mean, maybe your wife might think so. Maybe Chet might think so. We'll ask him about that in part 2. But no, I don't think you do.
Say I do.
But Biden certainly does. And I have to say, I don't like his politics, but I don't mean that in a mean way. And the thing that's concerning for me, God forbid, imagine having a president that was dementing with their finger on the button. I mean, that worries me.
Oh man, yeah, totally. And he didn't even want to run. He was threatened. He was forced to run. I don't know how they got him in the race, but he knew he wasn't fit to run. And the only reason they made him run was because they knew they were going to use him in this latest coup attempt at impeaching Trump, because it fit the narrative. And I also think Trump was encouraged to make that call, and it was almost like a setup. But Biden was never a threat to Donald Trump.
No.
In the 2020 election.
Yeah.
Way back when he made that phone call, what was it, in August of 2018? He made that phone call, or was it earlier than that? I can't remember. But
he can't either, which is the point.
Biden is not even going to. In 10 days, his goose is cooked.
Yeah.
He'll be leaving the race in 10 days. He doesn't even have a prayer.
I mean, I want that as my ringtone.
Getting the nomination.
I want that as my ringtone. That lying dog-faced pony soldier thing. That was just, to me, that was so inappropriate. But imagine if Donald Trump had said that to an older lady in the audience. He would have been old. What is it? Senior phobic or something. Which is a great segue into the next topic, the next short topic I want to discuss, because talk radio host Michael Savage, are you listening to this, Chet? Who is a reliable Donald Trump ally, usually. However, he feels that the Donald has fallen short, and that jokes about Democratic Party candidate Michael Bloomberg's height, are not acceptable. He says, "Stop attacking Bloomberg's height," Savage tweeted on Tuesday. It's a losing position, and millions of Hispanic immigrants vote. Many are shorter than Bloomberg. Trump fans have cheered Trump's flurry of hilarious attacks on the elf's height, including dubbing him Mini Mike, alleging without proof that Bloomberg wants to stand on a box at the debate podiums, and comparing him to a tiny version of Jeb Bush. Now, Savage, who is 5'7", clearly thought he'd offer a little support. See, a little support. Now, Tanya Osensky, the author of Height Discrimination book Short Change, said Trump's attacks on Bloomberg's height are just politically fraught and low down. Bloomberg shot back that Trump had squandered his family fortune. Now, the thing that really concerns me about this, if Donald Trump makes a fat joke, and Donald Trump is not the thinnest person on the planet, is he attacking all fat people? Isn't Dan Savage allowing himself to be used in this situation? Michael Savage, sorry, not Dan Savage.
Yeah. I knew what you meant. Michael Savage, I love and respect Uncle Mike, but I don't always agree with him. I agree with Savage maybe 80% of the time, but in this case, he's totally wrong. I'm 5'7". I'm not offended by that, and I don't think Bloomberg is even 5'7". I think Bloomberg is about 5 foot.
Yeah.
Because he's extremely tiny.
Yeah.
And I'm not bragging, but I did meet Donald Trump, and I shook his hand, and I said, "The people have your back, man." And he said, "Thank you." And I shook his hand, and there's a picture of me with him, and I look like an insect.
Right.
Next to Donald Trump.
Exactly.
And I don't care. He's an alpha male, and maybe I'm not an alpha male, but at least I'm supporting the candidate who is better suited for the job. Now you have people calling Donald Trump a Nazi.
Yeah.
They're calling him Mussolini. They're calling him a racist, a misogynist, a
Yeah.
bigot, a this, a that.
Anti-disabled.
McCain
Yeah.
called him a divider. McCain called his supporters the crazies. And every time Trump hits back, "Oh, he's a bully. He's a bully. He's a bully." No, he's not a bully. He's not a bully if he's hitting back.
Right.
You're the guys who are calling him the most disgusting things.
Yeah, but did you?
24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So he has every right to tweet out anything he wants to say about
Right.
it.
But did you not get the memo, CV? Donald Trump is the only person on the planet that's not allowed to defend himself or his family. And I think that is pretty abysmal. Because I tell you what, if I had kids and people attack my kids, I would be on the phone right away. Or I would be on Twitter right away saying, "What the F do you think you're doing attacking my kids?" I mean, fair enough. I disagree with Trump's policies, disagree with the way he runs the country, but his kids are off limits. And let's face it, if you said anything about Sasha and Malia, or however the hell you pronounce their names, and their two dads, you were thrown into jail for it, for hate speech, because that's how America has become. I was just reminded by Nick in the live feed about, there's a video going around where someone stopped Bloomberg for a selfie, and as they were looking into the camera, he said, "Remember stop and frisk?" Bloomberg was furious. But we have to remember these kind of things. We have to remember the example of how he ran New York, because apparently it was fiscally better, but his militaristic ideologies with regards to you can't have a 64-ounce drink. Who the hell says you can't have a 60? I could drink 2 64-ounce drinks some days on a hot day if I'm really thirsty. The government, I'm for small government, and the government should not be telling me how big a drink I can purchase. If I've got the money to pay for it, then I should damn well be able to have it.
Right, and that's why Trump, to confuse his critics like Michael Savage, and to insult Bloomberg in a way that critiques his policies and makes fun of his height, he should call him Micro Mike. Because he's a micromanager.
Good one.
Micromanager. Yeah, so it makes fun of his height and also makes fun of his propensity to micromanage our lives by making the sodas that we want to buy illegal.
I mean, don't you find it concerning that anyone in public office, it's not like he was concerned with obesity or anything like that, because the thing is that I remember with a certain food chain with a Scottish name where they used to let you supersize your food. Now then they stopped doing that. They said, we want to help combat obesity. Well, if you want to supersize your food, you'll just buy twice as much. So you can't regulate what people put. If you want to regulate what people put in their bodies, stop all the poison being put into fast food and processed food. I mean, surely that would be a better avenue than what he is doing. But can you see it getting down to Bloomberg? Because I've watched some of the debates, but frankly, all they do is trash talk Trump, and I want to see debates that are about them saying what their policies are going to be, not how bad they think Donald Trump is in a debate.
Yes.
Where do you think it's going with regards to the final kind of countdown regarding the Dem candidate?
It's a total coin toss.
It is a coin toss.
Because nobody has the edge, but maybe butt edge because he's gay and he's making a lot of hay out of being gay, as if anybody freaking cares about what you sleep with in bed. Nobody cares.
Absolutely.
But, I don't care who runs against Trump, they're gonna lose.
No.
Because they cannot debate the issues. Everything with them is racist this, racist that. Because they cannot face the fact that they're trying to sell socialism to a country that hates socialism.
Absolutely. And the debates have become like a Village People concert. They've got a gay person, a fake Indian. It's kind of laughable. And this ideology that you should vote for Buttigieg because he's gay. If you're gay, you should vote for a gay candidate. What about the right to assess their policies? If you're a fake Native American, does that mean that you have to vote for Liz? I faked my college application. Whatever her last name is, Warren. Surely we should be allowed to vote for candidates based upon their policies and nothing else.
Right. Absolutely. But I do not think a woman should be the commander-in-chief of our military. I'm sorry. I don't think a woman should be commander-in-chief of our military. Sue me. I'm not a misogynist, but I also don't think women make great firefighters.
Right. But
I don't think they make great policemen.
Ooh. Wow.
I don't think they should be on the front lines of our in battle.
Well,
I certainly think they should be generals or the commander-in-chief.
Can you very quickly clarify why not? Because we have like about a minute. But can you clarify why not before you get a million million items of correspondence saying that you're sexist?
Because I think women would be better. I think women would be happier raising children at home.
Wow. Okay. Well, that is your opinion. That's not the opinion of the show. But be prepared for some backlash, brother. So tell people when your show goes out and where they can listen to it.
It's coming every Sunday at between 3 and 5 Eastern Time. And go to freedomondeck.com. That's where you can see all the past shows that you missed.
Absolutely.
Like I'm gonna have to watch this show that I missed later.
Yeah, there will be questions on it afterwards, brother. So, but for now, thank you so much for joining us, CV. And I know you're coming back very soon. So thank you very much, and have a fabulous weekend.
Thank you, my friend. friend.
Thank you. That was CV Berton from Freedom on Deck. Make sure you check him out on social media. Go and follow him. He's on Facebook as CV Berton and also the Freedom on Deck page. I'm just going to do the intro for my next guest, who is Chet Martin, and he's the anchor from Freedom on Deck, and he's going to be calling us live from New York City. As we've already said, his show goes out Sundays, 3 to 5 Eastern Time. Be sure to follow their page for their ID station. I'm just looking to see what the ladies in the live feed think about CV's comments. They don't in any way reflect my views or the views of the show, but he's perfectly entitled to have them. Yes, siree. So please join me in welcoming back to the show my good friend, the wonderful Mr. Chet Martin. Hi, Chet. How is the world with you, sir?
I don't know, Xander. That's going to be a hard one to follow up with CD's parting shot at the end there.
Yeah.
Women should be barefoot and pregnant in the kitchen.
I know.
Oh my God.
I thought he was going to say afterwards, I'm joking. And I gave him the chance to kind of redact it or to tell me why. But, so if you want to write to anyone, you can contact CV Berton on Facebook about that one. Welcome back to the show, Chet. How is the world with you? And how is the weather in New York?
Oh, it's all right. I have a sick child with me tonight, and he's coughing up a lung. But aside from that, it's gotten colder. Last week we were actually teeter-tottering in the 40s and the 50s, which is nice. And right now we're getting down there to the 20s and in the teens tonight. So it's been cold, but that's normal. That's the way it's supposed to be. So
for sure,
I can't complain too much.
Bring on the summer. We have a storm coming this weekend, and they I can't think what it's called, but they name it after, they kind of go in alphabetical order like they do in the United States. So last weekend,
Xander, I like the cold. Honestly,
I
like the cold. I'm one of those guys that likes to be in the room, open the window, put the covers over me. That's my idea of sleeping.
Wow.
I like the cold weather.
Yeah, you're not normal, dude. Hey, I have to ask. I hope your kid's not been near any Chinese people, has he?
No.
Good.
That's what I was worried about for a little while there.
Yeah.
He seems fine.
Absolutely. I think a lot of people are worried about like that right now, especially people living in China. China! Who'd have thought that Donald Trump was right about China? Do you know what I mean?
Well, yeah, he's been ahead of the curve on a lot of things, hasn't he?
Yeah, he sure has. And let's see if he's going to be ahead of, by way of segue, let's see if he's going to be ahead of the curve on what we're going to talk about first. Because in a recent interview, Attorney General Bill Barr told ABC News that President Donald Trump has never asked him to do anything in a criminal case, but should stop tweeting about the Justice Department because his tweets make it impossible to do his job. Now, Barr's comments are being seen as disrespectful, and he said, "I think it's time to stop the tweeting about the Department of Justice cases." Barr told ABC's chief correspondent Pierre Thomas, and when asked if he was prepared for the consequences of criticizing the president, his boss, Barr, said, "Of course, because his job is to run the Justice Department. But what has Barr actually done to date?" Now, if he indicted the Democrats with the same veracity he dares to criticize the president with, things would be different. This is bad from the perspective of giving license to the media to criticize him further. Now, what say you? Was it okay to do that? Do you agree with what he said? And what are going to be the effects of this situation?
Well, first of all, his ability to criticize the president, whether we agree with it or not, is something that he can do. And his statement, he's right. But here's the issue. With Bill Barr,
I've seen somebody that has been in Washington his whole life. Now, when we put President Trump in office, we said we wanted to drain the swamp. And he has been in a large part over the last week after he got rid of that horrible gentleman that called himself a colonel, and he's no more than a popcorn kernel, in my opinion.
Yeah.
He also axed a lot of other people that should be out of the White House, and that's a good thing. But the issue is the people that have been brought in around President Trump. John Bolton, which we see now, has turned on President Trump and wanted to testify during these fake, fraudulent impeachment hearings. And with Bill Barr, I don't think he's somebody like a John Bolton, but he might be somebody like a Jeff Sessions, somebody that has, if you've been in Washington your whole life, Xander, they know things about you. You know things about them that might keep you quiet.
Yeah.
And I don't know. Supposedly I've heard that in April he's going to drop this big bombshell with him in Durham, and we're going to be exposing a lot of the Washington cartel. But so far I just haven't seen anything that makes me say, oh, yeah, he's going to pick it up here, and we'll find out. I personally don't think he should have been hired for the job.
No, I don't. I heard this weekend, and I don't know if this is true. Maybe you have heard this too. But finally, the justice system has caught up with Jussie Smollett, and he's been indicted. Finally, we're looking at black on black crime, and I don't think Jussie should beat himself up about it. But I do think that I've heard that Bill Barr pushed for this. Do you know anything about that? Have you heard anything?
I did hear that. I didn't see it on any reliable sources.
No.
I've seen it through True Pundit, which isn't a great source.
No.
So I can't tell you if that's true or not. I do know that they went after him, and that's a good thing. And we should expose people that are making falsified hate crimes, because there are real hate crimes that happen out there. And when you're promoting this type of thing and saying that, Trump supporters in Chicago jumped you at 4 a.m. when it's -12 out, which was obvious to anyone with half a brain that he was lying. But there are some people out there that will believe that, and they'll go out and they'll attack a Trump supporter for that. And that, that's the danger here. It's always the left attacking the right. I can't think of the last time that somebody could point it out to me, maybe, where a Trump supporter has actually gone out and attacked somebody. Different political affiliation. I've never seen it.
No. Well, you only have to look at Antifa and the way that they're behaving towards people and getting away with it. And I believe in some areas, I've heard, again, it's just hearsay, but I've heard in New York City that police officers are being told to turn a blind eye to Antifa, because in liberal-led states, they're actually ignoring their actions. How is that acceptable? How is it acceptable to even be down the street with your face covered in a gang of people that have their face covered? I think it's concerning.
Well, you're right, and there have been police that have been told to turn away when they see Antifa harassing citizens. There's one video in Oregon where an older gentleman was trying to get through a blocked-off street that's blocked off by Antifa. He didn't have anything that would have pointed him out to be a conservative or a Trump supporter, and they went up to him and they attacked him.
Wow.
He was able to get out of there, but we see this time and time again. Antifa will attack you if you criticize them. You remember Andy Ngo, who is a homosexual and an Asian, and he is a citizen journalist. He's got a lot of followers.
You mean a
Twitter
Gaysian?
Yes, and they attacked him so badly, Xander. They almost killed the guy.
That's disgusting.
They almost killed him. And the criticism's not there from the left. You don't hear about it on CNN or anywhere else. The media just does not shine a light on it, which is unfortunate.
No, but you don't hear reports. Just to kind of echo what you were saying, you don't hear reports of gangs of conservatives, running around beating people up and that kind of thing. But this is synonymous with the left. The left is violent, and I think they're becoming more violent. But I don't know that enough is being done to stop that.
Well, it it's a concern, certainly, because Project Veritas just released another video 2 weeks ago of a Bernie Sanders campaign insider that was saying that they're going to riot if Sanders doesn't get the nomination. And he also said at the DNC that they're going to be attacking police officers.
Wow.
Some more evidence of the violence that exists with the cult following of Bernie Sanders. Don't forget that the jerk who shot Steve Scalise worked for the Sanders campaign in 2016.
Wow.
That's a fact. And that's a problem.
It's disturbing. Well, I hope that these cops have all got plenty of bullets with them, because for me, if you attack a cop with a gun, expect to get shot. And I don't care if that's politically incorrect, Chet. You know, I think that that's fair enough.
Unfortunately, Xander, their mayor hates them. They've actually pushed back against de Blasio. There's a lot of pushback going on right now with Cuomo and this bail reform law that's absolute garbage. But New York is slowly falling into the abyss. Not that we haven't been there, but it's getting a lot worse.
No, I long for the days when New York has another Giuliani. You know, I don't know where it went to the point where, you know, where the left kind of took a foothold. But I want to move on to another topic now, because we're time bound. Because the Gallup poll has some encouraging news for President Trump in his battle for re-election. Apparently, 6 in 10 Americans say they are better off than they were 3 years ago when he took office, and about the same number credit him for the improvement. Now, no other incumbent president in the past 3 decades has enjoyed such a high percentage of people saying they feel better off about their situation. In 2012, when Barack Obama was in the White House, 45% of Americans told Gallup they were better off than they were 3 years prior. In 2004, 1996, and 1992, the number was 50%. Now, in the latest survey, 61% say they are better off, 36% say they are not, and 3% say they are about the same. And I can guess what the 36% and the 3% how they voted. Now, 29% of Americans say the economy is the most important issue for them when voting for the president, more than those who cite healthcare, 26%, immigration, 14%, gun policy, 13%, education, 10%, and terrorism, 5%. Now, in January, Gallup found that Trump with his highest job approval rating since taking office. 63% of Americans in the survey said they approved of Trump's handling of the economy, the highest rating for any president since George W. Bush. Approvals ratings soared after the terror attacks on 9/11. Chet, my first question to you is, what the hell is people's problem with Donald Trump? If they've got more money in their pocket, the country is fiscally better, and things are going great. What is their problem?
Well, their problem is they're a bunch of communists, and people that want government handouts aren't going to like the fact that the economy is doing good.
No.
It was James Carville, the Clinton insider, who said himself, it's the economy, stupid, back in the 90s, and guess what? It still is. If you are the president of the United States and you have the economy going in a good direction, you're going to get reelected, and there's not much they can do about it, and I think they kind of understand that, but they also like to throw salt onto President Trump as if he has a wound, but he doesn't. There's too many Americans supporting him, but they say, oh, well, the economy is only working good for those who have it well. Well, I'll tell you something. I've seen my raise went up at my job this year. I got a better bonus, and I live in New York, so I can only understand that in the more conservative states, they're seeing the same thing. And people are just more confident. When you have jobs being put out in the Black community, the Latino community, less people on welfare, less people out of employment, more people in the workforce, of course they're going to reelect Donald Trump. And I'll tell you, the economy hasn't been this good in a very long time.
No.
I don't know if I can think back to when it was.
No, absolutely. And to go back to your point about lowest Black unemployment, I actually thought it was for 30 years. Then I thought it was for 50 years. Do you know the figure is actually lowest Black unemployment ever in the history of the United States? And to me,
it's very Very good
yeah.
numbers for the president.
It is. It is. And to me, the thing is, love Donald Trump or hate him, if you base your opinion of him just on his performance as president, you should really freaking love him because he's done a good job in the 3 years because he's run the country like a business. And that's what was needed because no other president has done that. No sorry stories, no sub stories. I do see his heart, though. In the State of the Union address, was it last week or the week before? I actually saw, you see his heart, you see how compassionate he is, you see the things that he does. And I don't know this Donald Trump that the left purports because that's not the Donald Trump I know and respect.
No, they've been lying about President Trump ever since he was elected. Calling him a racist and a misogynist and painting him as this big ogre when you can look through the time period when Donald Trump started as a builder in New York to when he became the president. No one ever called him a racist. No one ever called him a misogynist. No one ever painted him as this ogre.
No.
Now, all of a sudden, because he's been elected by the American people and he's turning things around, and yes, crime got out of hand in New York and Baltimore and areas where he has called, liberal levias that people need to turn it around, they have an issue with him and they call him a racist. But if jobs are up in the black community and jobs are up in the Latino community, that should be something that's celebrated, and it shouldn't be painted as something bad.
No.
It's not.
No.
It's great for the American people.
For sure. And to quote Winston Churchill, you've never had it so good, really. And it can only get better. Why would you want to stop that progress by voting in socialists? I mean, it's scary to me that they would even consider doing that. But I have to say, and I'm sure you would back me up with this, Chet, don't just rely on the fact that this is going to be a landslide, people watching and listening to this broadcast.
No.
Get yourself out there and
I'm
vote.
not saying that.
No, I wasn't
There,
suggesting you were.
And promote. No, I know. But you just make sure that you promote all the good things that President Trump has been doing. And, most people understand that. But there are a lot of people, evangelicals and some on the right side of the aisle that maybe don't identify as Democrat that don't go and vote and
Right.
try to make sure that they do, because the more people that you get out there, the better you're going to do and the better chances that President Trump has to win re-election. I
Absolutely.
think he's going to, but I don't think we should be overconfident. Definitely not.
No, I want to ask you a final question, Chad. Would you agree that the 2020 election is even more crucial than the 2016 election?
Yes, because President Trump will be able to kick it into overdrive in his next 4 years. You're going to see more accomplishments coming down the pike, because I think what the Democrats have done is sabotage their own party. What I mean by that is, CV's right. In 2018, they stole the House by the fraudulent witch hunt for Russian collusion with President Trump.
Absolutely.
And some people said, well, I can't vote for him because he might be involved with Russia, which was a complete lie, and we see that. And this time around with the impeachment inquiry, those people had woken up and they said, well, they're lying again.
Yeah.
The Democrats will lose the House. When they lose the House, they don't have the Senate. President Trump will have a clear path to put in more of these types of programs and push through more laws and more judges that are pro-American, pro-Make America Great, and we're going to get better results. And you will see there actually has been a lot of progress being made on that border wall. People aren't paying attention, but there's actually construction going on right now.
Absolutely. And I know Nancy Pelosi listens to this show, so I just want to remind you, Nancy, there's no vodka in jail, which is a great point to leave it. But tell us about your show this weekend. Tell us when it's going up. I never know whether it's AM or FM. I always get confused about that.
Well, it's FM radio, and that's if you're out in Connecticut, Long Island, and Rhode Island. You can listen right on 94.9 News Now and Stimulating Talk. But for most of your listeners, it's going to be go to 949newsnow.com or go to freedomondeck.com. xandergibb.com, and you can listen live there at 3 p.m. on Sundays. And we got a good show. We got Xander Gibb coming on with us. We're going to talk about some of the hot topics and probably talk about some of the things that we've discussed here. But I think we're going to talk a little bit about Mike Lavinati and some other delicious topics.
Yes.
We also have Dr. Kendra Becker-Musante, who you've had on
Yeah,
many
she's
times
fabulous.
before. We're going to talk about the coronavirus and figure out if Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez is safe, since she used to be a bartender. She's concerned about getting the coronavirus with a lime. And then we're also going to have Pastor Jennison Franklin. He's President Trump's spiritual advisor. He's a New York Times best-selling author, and he's got a new book out called Acres of Diamonds, and we're really excited to have him on.
Brilliant. Well, I look forward to chatting with you on Sunday, Chet, and I hope your son feels better soon. Have a fabulous weekend, and give my best to your family.
Thanks for always fighting for us, Xander. You do a great job.
Thank you, and you too, brother. Thank you. Thanks a lot. Take care.
God bless.
God bless. That was the fabulous Chet Martin from Freedom on Deck. Make sure you check him out. Check out the show this Sunday, and not just because I'm on. Check it out every week because it is a great show. Freedom on Deck, 949 News Now, and stimulating talk. Go and check it all out on the Freedom on Deck page and at freedomondeck.com. Thanks to everyone who's made today's show possible. Thanks to Steve V. Berton, who's also from Freedom on Deck, hence the Freedom on Deck takeover. Not had your fill of the Gibster. You can catch me on the real side later, 7 Pacific, 9 Central, 10 Eastern, and 3 a.m. in the UK. So grab a cup of tea and stick around. That's all we have a time for, folks. We will be back next week when my guests are, if I remember rightly, no, I can't remember. But we will be sharing tomorrow or Sunday who the guests will be. Oh, yes, it's Mark Sutherland, and Chris Saucier will be coming on to give us an update regarding how he's been treated by the U.S. Navy since his experiences and why is Hillary Clinton not in jail. Thanks to everybody in the live feed. Have a wonderful weekend. Make sure you click the share button before you go. I think some of you are allergic to that. You won't get the SARS virus or what's it called, the coronavirus from sharing. So please do so. Click that share button before you go, and have a wonderful weekend. And I will be back next week. Stay safe and be good. Bye-bye.
It has been good to me this time around. Things were the bound to change when it was found. Sugar never tasted sweeter on my lips. My heart is now intact, and I can find no ribs. This is love, yeah, love. Never known true love before. Seen so many counterfeits that left me on the floor. This is love, yeah, love. All will come to those who wait. Time it cannot know the bounds, and era don't dictate.
Click the bell button and subscribe to keep up with the Xander Gibb